All right, Chair Rasmussen, the time is now 5:18 p.m. and you can call the meeting to order.
Thank you so much, Suki, I appreciate that. Okay, so we are calling the May 28th, 2024 meeting to order. Suki, could you let our guests know about our translation services, please?
Sure. Members of the public, the live interpretation of this entire meeting will be provided in Spanish. To access live interpretation services, please click the interpretation globe icon in your Zoom meeting webinar controls and then select the Spanish language. At this time, I would like my colleague Kenya or Kimberly to provide these instructions in Spanish.
Muy buenas tardes, gracias por estar con nosotros. Esta reunión va a tener interpretación en vivo al español. Si usted quiere acceder al canal de interpretación, haga clic en la barra de herramientas, seleccione el icono de un mundo, puede hacer clic allí y seleccionar el idioma español. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros esta tarde. Thanks, Suki.
Thank you.
Okay, and I see that we have a quorum, but let's do our roll call, please.
Okay, sounds good. Karen Huber-Levy is absent. Ruchi Mankani?
Present.
Thank you. Jennifer Blanco is absent. Paul Bocanegra? Present. Thank you. Whitney Ginevra?
Present.
Steve Green is absent. Eugene Jackson is absent. Wesley Liu? Here. Thank you. Amaya Nori? Here. Satvik Nori is absent. Susan Swope?
Here.
Thank you. Tiffany Uhulahata?
Here.
Thank you. And then Chair Rasmussen.
I'm here, thank you so much. Okay, so now would be the time on our agenda where we call for public comment for items that are not otherwise on the agenda.
Okay, members of the public, if you wish to speak here in person, please fill out that form right there. Or if you're speaking on Zoom, please raise your hand now. Okay, no hands are raised, so there's no public comment.
Thank you so much. Okay, may I have a motion to set the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda as distributed.
Sorry.
Thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Amaya Nori. And all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those who abstain? Okay, that's passes unanimously. Next up is the approval of the meeting minutes. I do want to mention that there was a sentence that was inadvertently left out, but it has since been corrected, and that had to do with the public comment of Shaquille Ali, who is the governing board president of the Jefferson Elementary School District. He had made a comment at our last meeting, so those minutes, that correction has been made. But is there any other corrections?
Yeah, Joanna, the title is not correct. You gave me a promotion.
Okay.
My title is the same as Nora Collins. It's Assistant Deputy Chief Probation.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other comments about the minutes?
I move approval of the minutes as corrected.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Who?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Amaya Nori seconds. Okay, the minutes are approved. Thank you so much.
You didn't take a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Okay, minutes are approved as corrected. Thank you. Next up on the agenda is system partner updates. And first up is Ron Reyes with the Private Defender Program.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for the past 4 weeks, we assigned 88 cases. Of those, 11 of them were detentions. 6 of them contained, of the detention, 6 of them contained 707B type of allegation. 19 were out of custody arraignments, and out of those 19, 3 of them contained 707B type of allegation. We handled 15 sealing petitions in the last 4 weeks, and then we received 29 calls on our Miranda consultation hotline.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions for Ron? Okay, thank you very much.
Any,
Next up is
through the chair?
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh,
Any
yes.
public comment?
Thank
Any public
you.
comment for the private defender program update? Please raise your hand in Zoom. Okay, no hands are raised. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up is the probation department update.
Yes, hi, Nora Cullen, Assistant Deputy Chief. For diversion and going through the work process, we have 121 clients, and then for supervision, 179, for a total of 300. Siam Aram, also Assistant Deputy Chief over institutions. We have currently 33 youth in custody. 30 of them are male, 3 are female. We have 3 units open. 2 male units, 1 female unit currently. We have 2 out-of-county youth that we're serving. One is San Francisco, one is Santa Clara. In terms of updates, we have Hillcrest graduation tomorrow at 1:30. We have 4 graduates. Last day of school is also tomorrow. They're back in school June 5th. And then I know last time we talked about the Asian Pacific celebration that was going to happen in May. We had way too many different things going on in May, so we pushed it out. And it will be on June 26th at 11 o'clock.
Wonderful.
And that's, what is that?
The Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. Okay, does anyone have any questions for either? Oh, yes.
Kind of just about scheduling for the education inspections that come up. When does so you said it starts back up June 5th, when I know there's like a 6-week gap or something, or is that, when would the 6-week gap for like break be?
I don't know right now what the dates are exactly, but
Yeah.
I can find out.
But do you know if they will be in school for most of June?
I don't know that there's a 6-week gap.
Okay, oh, okay, that's what
I think it's a 2 week.
2 weeks, okay.
Yeah. And I think that happened somewhere in between August.
Okay,
Around
perfect.
August time.
Cool, thank you.
I think-
From the county.
I think that's where we've had some issues, because when we get ready to schedule the inspections and school's not in, then last year we
That would
did.
be a great
Yeah.
question for them. I think
Yeah.
they're online.
Yes, they'll be up next. Okay. All right, any other questions? Commissioner Bocanegra, do you have any questions for probation?
No.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so public comment for probation.
And for the record, Commissioner Southwick arrived at 5:24. Members of the public, if you wish to comment on item 4B, probation department update, please raise your hand in Zoom. Okay, no hands are raised. Back to you.
Thank you very much. I am looking through our panelists and attendees, and I do not see anyone from the Behavioral Health and Recovery Services here to do an update. Typically, we have Ornette Shohan, so they're not present to give an update. Sarah Notch, I thought she is actually an attendees.
Sarah, I'm promoting you now.
So Sarah from the County Office of Education is here to give us an update. Thank you so much for being here, Sarah. She's online.
Sarah, you should be a panelist now. Maybe she dropped off. We can come back to her, because I don't see her.
Yes, she was, oh, I see her
Oh,
now.
there she is. Okay.
Okay. Sarah, would you like to begin your update now?
Hi, I'm so sorry. I in the car, unexpectedly drive out to the East Bay to help a family member. So can you hear okay?
Yes, we can.
I
Oh,
can,
oh, great. Thank you so much for the flexibility. I wanted to make sure I could call and give a quick update, and then Jonas Barber, who's in principal, will be logging in, I think, around 5:45. I did hear the last question about the summer programming, and there is not a 6-week break. We have 2 summer sessions. So we have one of the things that we're trying to balance with our summer programming is to give staff some well-deserved time as well as allow participate in activity. Our incredible department. So we have about a week off, and then we have a 3-week session, and then another week, and then another 3-week session. So we have kind of spaced out the breaks in the instructional time, but the majority of the time during the summer is instructional time for our students. We're going to be focusing primarily on credit recovery for those who need it and credit acceleration for those who don't in our 2 summer sessions. And then in the second session, we're really excited to bring a career option back for students who are able to participate in that. So really excited for the summer opportunities. And then right now, we are finalizing our LCAP development. It's a full rewrite for 3 years. And so we are presenting to our County Board of Education in
We lost her.
but,
Sarah,
Sarah, your connection is really bad. We can barely hear you.
I'm sorry, summer session.
Sarah, Ms. Nodge, through the chair, we can barely hear you. I think we have a bad connection.
I'm so sorry. Let me, can you hear that?
Should we come back to
Is
her?
it possible to send the call-in?
Did you do a call in, maybe on the phone?
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Do you have that information?
I didn't. Are you able to send me the One Touch Mobile number?
Yes.
Sarah, why don't you go ahead and just submit your update in writing to us, please? And then if I could just ask commissioners, if you can hear us, we can see if anyone has any questions. And I know that I was gonna request a copy of the calendar for the school year, so we have an understanding of when the kids are in school. Does anybody else have any questions for Sarah Notch?
I'd like to get the date the LCAP is being presented.
Oh, and if we could also, if you could include the date that the LCAP is being presented, and a copy of the calendar, and then if you could submit your report in writing, that would be really helpful. And then we could distribute that with the agenda next time. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope everything works out well with your family. Okay, next up. Thank you. Okay, so public comment?
Sure. Members of the public, if you wish to comment on County Office of Education's report, please raise your hand in Zoom from this room. Okay, no hands are raised.
Thank you so much. And last on our system partner update is Children and Family Services Director John Fong, and he is not in attendance this evening. So that brings us up to item 5, which is a presentation that I'll be giving. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be giving a presentation on the Pine Grove Youth Conservation Camp. And let me go back. Start here. So I was fortunate enough on May 8th to be able to travel up to Pine Grove with Ron Reyes, and we got to do a tour of the facility. We were able to meet with some of the youth that were there And so I put together a presentation. Pine Grove, for those of you who are not familiar with it, has been operating as the oldest camp in California. And they operated for years under the Department of Juvenile Justice, prior to that, CYA. And when DJJ was closed, everybody, several organizations, groups, and folks said, you have to save Pine Grove. And so they did. So Pine Grove is there, and how they're operating now is they're entering into individual contracts with counties. So they are the oldest conservation camp in the state of California. They're in Amador County, and they sit on 98 acres of land that's owned by CAL FIRE. They're 130 miles away from, I did the distance from Hillcrest, and their current population is 18. But in the past, they have a capacity of 100. In the past, they've operated as many as 4 fire crews, and they say the ideal number there is between 60 and 80. And as you can see from the pictures, you can have a beautiful day like the day Ron and I went, or it snows up there. So it's really quite a place. It's really beautiful. Okay, who's eligible to go to Pine Grove? So who's eligible? Male youth, ages 18 to 25, and they must have 6 months to 6 years left on their sentence. And they do say, however, that 9 months is the ideal. 6 months is for them to really get something out of the program. They really need at least 9 months, and as many as 6 years. This is for long-term and secure track youth. They have to either have a high school diploma or be eligible to take a GED, because they don't have high school classes there. You have to have no violations within the last 60 days, no pending charges. If you have arson or sex-related charges, you are not eligible. You must have the physical ability to participate and medical clearance. So medical clearance means they don't have nursing there to distribute medication. So if you were on psychotropic medication, that would be an exception. If you had asthma, you certainly couldn't be working out in the fire. So there are certain exceptions. Counties are entering into MOUs, each individual county. There's 26 as of right now. So the counties are entering into MOUs. The counties pay per participant. So it's not as though they pay for a bed or a spot and then we never use it. We actually would pay as it's being used. The basic rate, the cost of the county is $10 a day. And the training rate, which could be up to 2 weeks, is $81 a day. The process for sending a youth there is, of course, establish the MOU. Then the probation officer will issue a referral. The youth will be screened and interviewed, and then the county will get word whether or not they were accepted or denied. So like I mentioned earlier, there's 26 current contracts, and I know many counties are going up and touring this. Everyone is very excited about this opportunity, especially for counties like ours who don't have a step-down program. So San Francisco, Alameda, Contra Costa, Sonoma, Santa Cruz are just a couple of those who are currently sending youth there. A few important facts is there's been no walkaways from the facility since 2019. There's very few rule violations, and programs such as these have the lowest recidivism and reincarceration rates going. The facilities are quite remarkable. You can see in the top left there's lots of recreation. They have the second box there is the outdoor area where they do visiting and barbecuing with family. Then we have the sort of recreation room, and then the dormitories at the bottom, the kitchen, and then they have a beautiful gym. So the kids are really working on physical fitness. Some of the other facilities, they have programming and a place for kids to do their college courses. And they also have a wonderful dog named Scrappy, who meets you when you arrive. And he's pretty sweet. He's a sweet dog. Okay, so some of the programs and the partners up there at Pine Grove. So we have CAL FIRE, of course, who's in partnership with the California Department of Corrections, and they sort of run the program. And the Department of Forest Service, they come in and they assist with the training. They offer community college through the Lake Tahoe Community College. The Anti-Recidivism Coalition and the Amity Foundation provide programs. So some of the programs they provide, besides the wildfire and physical fitness, they do CPR, like I mentioned, the community college, gang intervention, addictive and criminal thinking, substance abuse, credible messenger, mentorship. They do family reunification, and they do life skills. They also do transition and reentry. That's done by what used to be a parole officer. There's 2 of them, and the folks who hold that position now work closely with the county probation departments to ensure that the youth is getting what the county would like them to have as far as services, and then keeping them up to date as far as for court appearances and such as that. They attend court via Zoom. The next page here is training. They receive extensive training. They basically receive the same type of training that an entry-level firefighter would in the state of California. They do physical conditioning. They do emergency response. The facility is actually a place where Life Flight lands, and so the youth actually are in charge of moving the gurneys. So they actually are actively participating in saving lives. They learn radio communications, welding, and they also learn to work with chainsaws and heavy machinery. Again, the basic pay is $10 a day. So the county pays them $10 a day for the kids to be there, and then they give that $10 to the children. And then they are able, or the young adults, and they are able to put that into their trust accounts. And with that, they can purchase canteen, they can pay their victim restitution, and they can also send money home. Fire deployment, so they, so the firefighting aspect, as you can see, I mean, they are right in the front lines of these fires and some of the biggest fires we've had in the state recently. So they are deployed with CAL FIRE, and they perform thousands of hours of service annually. When they are not on fire duty, they also do fire prevention. Well, they'll go out and they do fire, you know, they clear areas, clear brush, they clear roads and highways, maintain state parks. And so there's many ways that they're of service to the community. Family. So while they're there, of course, the kids get physical mail. I know at our county jail, that's something that we don't have anymore, but they'll get physical mail. And if they're on the fire line, they'll actually deliver the mail to the fire line. Kids can call home for free, or young folks can call home for free. They have family receive support. That's actually a picture that of a family, like a group visiting day, that they took a picture of the facility up at the top. That's actual families. So families receive support. They have family reunification. The Anti-Recidivism Coalition has a ranch close by, and they will offer the ranch as a place for families to stay free of charge quarterly. They also provide gas cards to families to get up there. So visiting is not such a hardship, as we know many of our families cannot afford a trip up to Amador County. So the Anti-Recidivism Coalition helps by providing lodging and gas cards. The young folks are also able to receive quarterly packages. Every Sunday, if they're not out on the fire line, they can visit with their family for 6 hours, and family can bring food, and they can barbecue. The kids say that that's one of the best things about the facility, is that they get to eat their mom's home cooking, their home food, and to spend so much time with their folks. And they can visit with their family on Saturdays. So one of the things, the reason why we went on that Wednesday is because we wanted to talk to the youth that were there. Because we can read all these things about how this place operates, but until we actually talk to the kids who live there and do the work, how can we really make a recommendation on whether this is a place we'd like our kids to go? So these are some of the quotes that they gave to Ron and I when we were talking to them. They said, we're brothers. It don't matter what neighborhood you're from when you're there. So there's people from LA, there's people from Alameda, but they say we're brothers here. We're on the fire line, we watch our back. We all watch each other's backs. It's a brotherhood. No more which neighborhood are you from? One of the young men said, it's like I'm almost free. There's no gates, there's no handcuffs, there's no bars, there's no cells. They're there because they want to be there. Like I mentioned, they don't have frequent it's been since 2019 since someone has left. So it doesn't feel like a prison or a jail. One of the comments that we were told is, the first day it snowed here was one of the best days of my life. This was a kid from LA who had never seen snow before. And he said, so here he is at the Pine Grove campsite. It was one of the best days of his life, seeing snow. He says they treat us like heroes here. It's peaceful. Many have never been in nature like this, in the forest. They feel like they have a sense of purpose, and they feel like they're helping others. Community. So there's a picture of Scrappy in the corner there, and that's the parade. The youth participate in the Memorial Day parade and the 4th of July parade downtown Pine Grove every year. Scrappy joins them, and the town loves them. They're viewed as heroes, and you can imagine with the background that might have led a child to the Department of Juvenile Justice back in the day when this was operating, there might be some pretty significant stuff there. There might also be some significant trauma. But when they're at Pine Grove, they feel like they're heroes. Like they've turned all that around, and now that they're helping their community. They help with Christmas tree deliveries. There's a holiday wreath program, and they also raise money for charity. This is them, another picture of the parade. And look at the smile with the kid carrying the flag. It's just really tremendous what they're doing up there with these kids. If you'd like to learn more about the Pine Grove Fire Camp, there's actually a documentary called Fire Boys that's available on Amazon, or if you have Cinemax, it's free. The Sacramento Kings came up there to play basketball with the kids, and even Kanye West and Kim Kardashian were making phone calls to the camp to give the kids enthusiasm. They were also highlighted in Teen Vogue. So that is my presentation on the Pine Grove Youth Conservation Camp. I can't say enough good things about it. It is my hope that our county will consider entering into an MOU with them. And I'd like to ask Ron if he has anything he'd like to add, because he was there with me.
No, I mean, I was really struck by the feedback from the kids that I was talking to. Their quality of life seems to be quite better than any awful situation I've seen before. So that was very positive. And then they all commented on, besides the food, which was a common thing, that they were very happy about the different skills they all were hoping to get out of it. It's not just firefighting. Like one of the young men I've spoken to, he wanted to be a landscaper, and he shared with me how the work they're doing, they're gonna teach him how to become landscaper, how to maintain the machines, and different other skills that's gonna learn. So he's very excited about the prospect. So it just was very informative in that sense, that it really does give them a sense of purpose. They feel they're gonna be there for a period of time. They're gonna get out a much better skill than with the different tasks that they could do once they get out. So that was very encouraging.
Yeah, and they're frequently out in the community. I mean, they're out in the community probably daily, going out, and they just really, I can't believe I forgot the food, because that's one of the biggest issues we have here. They get 4,000 calories a day because of how physical they are. They are out there working, and I didn't see any overweight young people there. I mean, they are hiking and working hard. So they all raved about the food, and from all different areas of California, and they all said the food was way better. So, and the mattresses are like this thick.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's really, I just can't say enough good things about it. And they were very hospitable. Like I said, when we got there, they were very welcoming, and they were encouraging. And so they encouraged, if probation was interested in doing it for, I mean, many other departments and are headed up there. So does anyone have any questions for me about the trip, or for Ron about the trip? No?
Well, I guess I don't know if I can ask.
Yeah.
What has been communicated with probation here in terms of like participation or anything? Like,
Well, our first step was to go and sort of check it out and sort of investigate and say, what is this about? What does this look
so
like?
what are next steps?
How do we feel about it? So it was our hope that by presenting it here, that then you would sort of pass it on to probation and see how we might, pass it on to see how we can move it forward.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could CAL FIRE maybe, have they ever reached out to San Mateo County? Because I see that they have contracts with our region, all our neighbors. Has there been an attempt, did you inquire, if they've reached out to our probation department, being that all of our neighbors are participating in this program?
So it's actually the California Department of, it's the CDCR that runs it. And so I'm not sure what their marketing is or how they've been doing it. I just know that we don't have a contract. I know that when last month we discussed the OICR's list of the least restrictive placements, and San Mateo County wasn't on the list, but several counties who were on the list listed Pine Grove as their step down or as one of the programs they offered. So I think now this information is getting out. I think Alameda, I would think the chief probably would know about this because Alameda was one of the first to sign on. That was back in June of 2023. So we're very hopeful that they'll move forward. Yes.
So all the 18 youth that are currently there are from counties around California?
Yes, I believe it was San Luis Obispo and Riverside, Sacramento, Alameda, Los Angeles. Am I forgetting some?
I think that's.
Okay, that was the main. So a wide variety of kids, right? Yeah. And they all wanted to be there. I just can't stress that enough. Any other questions?
The group we spoke to were the group that they're all just got there, so they're still going through the training program. They have not made it to the fire line. So it looks like there's a period of time they have to pass certain tests, physical and actual tests. And then if they pass it, then they can move on to the next phase, which will be actual firefighting. And my understanding of that, it's, they go in the morning, they're under the custody of the CDCR. At 8:30 in the morning, they turn them over to CAL FIRE. They'll be with CAL FIRE all day, and then they're turning back to camp in the afternoon, and then they resume their programming. And one thing I wanted to add, that for the young people who want to pursue also college, so they're working on other for that enable the college they're offering, but you'll be able to also pursue college. It's not just strictly firefighting, but you can expand that way as well. So I thought that was a very good thing that they have.
Yeah, it was the Lake Tahoe Community College.
Yeah, and I think there was
Was there one
they
more?
mentioned, Columbia, not the one.
Oh,
in New York.
okay, yes,
but,
Columbia. Okay,
yeah, that's.
thank you for remembering that. Yes.
I have another question. Do they assist with reintegration after completion of their program? Are they assigned like a case manager?
Yes.
Is there a next step for maybe employment to the returning counties?
So kind of all of that. So they work
Wow.
in tandem with the county. So they're basically there for their time, right? They can earn time credits if the court allows time credits. So they're basically there for their remaining portion of their time. And then they would go back to their county for follow-up and if they're on probation, right?
They work with ARC for the reentry part of it.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
So the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. And then what was the second part of your question? Oh, I'm sorry.
Do they assist with employment after like reentry? Because they'll be, if they're 18 and over, they're adults. When they return, do they assist with like housing? What if the youth was documented as homeless upon his arrest? Does he remain that when he reintegrates, or do they assist with some sort of housing?
So I would imagine that they would have the same level of services that they would if they were leaving the facility, because they're entitled to those services, right? They need that. They can't just release them from the camp. I believe when they leave the camp, they go back to the county, and then the county is the one who discharges them. I know that there's been a lot of work in legislation on removing barriers to employment.
Yeah.
And I know that the U.S. Forest Service has the least amount of restrictions for youth. It also depends on some of the crimes. I think there's there's factors that weigh in there too, but there's been a lot of legislation about freeing this up, that these kids learn these valuable skills. And I know our local Redwood City Fire Department has just eliminated all their entry level, requirements because they want kids from the community. They want kids to be firefighters. And so that would be a nice partnership to have. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a comment.
Yes.
So there's a state academy at what used to be Ventura School.
Yes.
And so if a kid completes training successfully at Pine Grove, then they can qualify to go to the Ventura Academy.
Yes.
And there, it's staffed by fire service personnel from across the state. And so once they complete the academy there, then there's a easier way for an exemption to get their EMT certification. And nearly 100% of the people who graduate from that state academy get picked up by some fire service in the state.
Thank you. And so even when their time is over, they still have that option of going there if that's what they want to do. It really is a win-win.
Yeah, sounds like.
Glad that's-
Just share your names for the record.
Oh, Joaquin Jordan.
Thank you, Joaquin.
I think they shared with us of a recent cohort that just graduated. 2 of them were at the Ventura Academy.
So I think when you said Columbia, not Columbia University, the Columbia College in Sonora, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
How long is the program?
So it's basically dependent upon their sentence. So they will take a youth from 6 months to 6 years. So, but they say to really get the most out of it, they need at least like 9 months to be there. But that is the time, and it's not like, oh, you finished our program, you're done. It's a sentence. Instead of staying here, they would go there.
And this is documented, I'm sorry, this is documented as a step down by our neighbors.
Yes.
Mm.
It's listed in the OICR, the report that just went out on these restricted placements.
Right.
They list it there.
So the only investment would be an MOU, and it seems like
Right.
for 14 days, $81 a day. And then after that, it's $10 a day investment.
Right, and they give that $10 to the youth.
Wow.
So the youth then could put it in their trust account, pay victim restitution, and some kids even send money home. They said some kids send money home, but it also allows them to earn money, that financial literacy, right? And
Yeah.
then to have something for themselves when they do go home. And that's something that they've earned, and they've earned helping others.
The one thing that stands out to me is very low recidivism rate. So it sounds like this is a good program. Thank you. Thank you.
That was great.
Okay, public comment, please.
I haven't done anything wrong, but I want to go there. Members of the public, members of the public, if you wish to comment on item 5, the presentation on Pine Grove Youth Conservation Camp, please raise your hand in Zoom. Okay, no hands are raised. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so that places us now. We have a presentation by Joaquin Jordan. Thank you for being here. And Joaquin is going to give us a presentation on mindfulness-based substance abuse training. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. My name is Joaquin Jordan. I'm the statewide lead for the Youth Care Mentor Program, operated for Continuity Consulting. We operate out of a 2-year grant from UHCS, which is funded by SOAR 3, Strategic Opioid Response. MBSAT, which is Mindful-Based Substance Abuse Treatment for Adolescents, is a component of our Tier 1. So we have 3 tiers within our program. Tier 1 is basically a 12-week program where participants are exposed to substance use prevention education. We deal with emotion regulation, environmental shaping, friends versus accomplices, peer associations, family dynamics. There is a portion about the education on the brain functioning, the impact of substance abuse on the brain. So that is the biggest piece of Tier 1. We train facilitators. So let me start over. So this is a completely no cost to any partner that we partner with, whether it's a county, foster care agency, Office of Education, probation department. We cover staffing, we cover material costs. And so for Tier 1, we actually run that in Butte County Juvenile Hall. It's part of their secure track programming. We offer 2 other evidence-based programs for their secure track programming. We deliver services for youth who are being supervised in a community. We deliver these same services to homeless shelters, to community schools, and so it's really robust, and that's tier 1. And a part of tier 1 is we provide all the training that's required to facilitate in custody or out of custody. Because what we found is there's a special nuance with regards to delivering programming in custody. And so many times people will come in and they just are not responsive to the context. And so that's one of the things that we provide as a form of consulting for agencies who are seeking to work in custody, is provide that programming. We're lifting the same programming with the Department of Corrections and 2 of their facilities. We're also delivering this programming with the LA County Sheriff's Department in their mental health assistant program at Twin Towers Correctional Facility. Tier 2 is the peer support specialist, Medi-Cal peer support specialist. And so we provide all funding for that training. Our training partner is Tarzana Treatment Centers College. So if we identify an individual who has a desire to work in this helping field, we will pay for all of their education as well as provide clinical supervision. Tier 3 is if we, after a person's completed tier 2 and they find that this is what they really want to do, we'll also pay for the education to become a substance use disorder counselor. So that's a 6-month program, 1 class per month at a WASC accredited school, which is Tarzana Treatment Center College. And so we actually, let me read my notes. Sorry. So we've trained over 70 facilitators this year alone. We are operating between 40 and 50 groups right now, delivering services to over 1,500 people. We're passionate about this work. We are a small firm, and so we are not scaling internally. We're really trying to allow partners to do what they do best. We're super light touch with regards to managing the way that we distribute our funds. We provide case management with regards to a continuum of service for individuals who are completing our program. And what else? Oh, and we also really promote the use of credible messengers. We found that, especially through our PSS program, that when people are able to translate their lived experience with some professional training, it's the sweet spot. And so we have this little program that we're really building out called the Prison to Professional Pipeline. And so we're really focusing on individuals who are system involved currently, providing training while they're in custody as well as out of custody. I'm directly responsible for most of the clinical supervision. And for me, it's personally important because about 20 years ago, someone from this community came into a prison where I was housed. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with David Lewis. Heard of David Lewis? Free last ball.
Yes, beautiful man.
Yeah. So because of him, he literally put me on the course to change my life. Spent 31 years incarcerated, 24 of that in CDCR. The governor commuted my prison term in 2018, so I left prison on a Friday. I started university on Monday. So it was a quick transition. What we like to tell people is how you spend your free time in prison is how you spend your freedom. And so for me, programming in prison was super important. Education was super important. Developing a work ethic was super important. So these are all things that really inform our program delivery model. We know that with the right amount of assistance and timeliness of it and the right frequency, you can change lives. And so we don't believe in the fallacy of a small sample. For us, if you can change individuals, just those little small changes have a huge impact within our community. So we currently work with APB. We have another contractor who works with Live in Peace. And so I'm just here to present. Tiffany asked me if I was coming, so I'll actually catch the plane tomorrow to go visit groups down south, and then I'm off to Atlanta. But I wanted to be here to share this program. And again, the most important thing, and most people cannot believe, is absolutely zero cost.
Amazing.
So if it is a nonprofit that is looking to provide services within correctional facilities, that's something that we also help them with. We partner really closely with Butte County Probation Department. I sit on their Juvenile Justice Committee. We've helped shape their step-down program. We help shape their secure track programming as well as their camp programming. We're embedded in there 2 nights a week. And so we're really, really committed to this work with regards to being a effective as well as compassionate intervention, but also really realizing that partners in their communities know what's best. And so this is why we're super light touch. Like, we don't presume to know the best way to deliver these services. We're absolutely concerned with our program fidelity, but we leave it up to the partners to make, to deliver the services in a way that's most effective and responsive to the populations.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. And what an incredible story. Look at what you've done. It's amazing.
It's been interesting.
Commissioner Schultz.
How are you funded that you can offer the services without charge?
DHCS, Department of Healthcare Services. And so this
For
is our,
the state?
yes, state funding. This is our 3rd round of funding. Next year, SOAR is moving to a 3-year grant period. So right now it's 2 years. So we just put in our application for 4th round of funding.
That's fantastic.
I'm sorry, I'm just, do you need a CBO to work? So for example, we didn't have anybody submit an RFP to do drug alcohol education. So that's a hole in our programming. Do you need a CBO, or could you work with probation directly to bring some sort of services in?
So if you're an independent contractor, like if we train you, you have the requisite qualifications, and if they could partner with probation, then absolutely we would fund that.
But you still need it. You need somebody who wants to be in the
You
game.
need someone who wants to go in. So I'm in juvenile hall 2 nights a week, in addition to all the other stuff that I do, because it's like I believe in that. And that's one of the things. Oh, we also offer EQ2, which is based from Lionheart Foundation, and it's emotional intelligence 2. And so it's for staff. We're providing services to highly traumatized youth. And so that's one of the biggest things that we found is, although people have a passion for this work, many times it's their trauma that bring them to the work. And so they don't really understand like that embodied condition tendency, where when they're triggered, you know, like one of the things we say is fix your face, because you know your body is communicating 80% of your message, you know, whether you know it or not. But if you have a desire to work in the facility, we will train you up. We will help provide funding so that you can deliver services, and we work closely with probation to ensure that our service delivery model meets the needs of the agency.
But you'd be willing to work with a member of probation directly?
Absolutely.
If that person would be providing the services.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so we've trained probation officers.
Great.
Because what we want to do is, say for instance, funding leaves, we still want trained people who can deliver the program.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. We don't want service delivery to be key to some type of fiscal incentive. So we want to make sure that you have the knowledge and the skills to utilize the intervention and continue to do it whether we're funding it or not.
I have a question. You said that you molded step-down programs. How many times have you included the Pine Conservation, Pine Grove Conversation?
So that was a huge thing. Like, I actually know Judge Lucero, so it was weird when she came to visit. It was like a reunion. But we use camp as our step down, and we also include Pine Grove, because there was a statewide call with CDCR,
Yes.
with probation departments, announcing that it was still going to be continuing service.
Oh, okay.
So
our probation department was notified that this is a service that is available.
here's the thing about state communication. In theory, right, I think here's my biggest gripe. Most probation departments are understaffed and are severely impacted. And so like taking out the time to designate someone to sit in on a call, because it was a call, right? You know, so I again tend to operate out of a place of like grace with regards to people who are doing like this work that never stops. So yeah.
would have been easy to miss an email
It
saying
would
there's
have
gonna
been
be a
so-
state.
Right,
vote.
yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
So maybe Chris Avalos, I just know this, I noticed that he's who attends OICR, so he might be the person.
Where's he at now?
and, oh, I'm
As
sorry.
an adult.
Oh, so he
Oh,
wouldn't be
well,
our person.
is it the person?
And that's one of the things we're dealing with in our county, is because we're facing a staffing crisis within our department. You know, people are being moved from different units, so then you lose institutional knowledge in this unit, you know, and so that for us is like, how do we help probation do what they do more? This is a new age. The closing of DJJ had a lot of unintended consequences, whether it's the impact of people being for transfer hearings and utilizing that aspect. Well, the county doesn't have services, so we're going to transfer. So, but I think across the state, most probation departments are really committed to serving the youth in a way that reduces recidivism, but also does not grow criminality. And so it's a really, really delicate balance to figure out, like, how are you going to provide services that are effective, but also ensure public safety, and also include and consider, like, this is a child with a lot of trauma, because 90% of the kids, if not 100% of the kids in our custody, are highly traumatized. And I have cases on my caseload where I've had the grandfather bring in the mom and the kid, and they're all on probation. So there's this generational impact that is, like, I think most counties are seeing.
I just wanna make a comment. Thank you so much, Joaquin, for being here. Our connection is David Lewis. He was my mentor and my family friend. And so when we connected, we were just like, okay, we're brother and sister now. But when we brought MBSAT to our school district, it's been transformative. Like our graduation was last week, 10 students of all BIPOC, Tongan, Samoan, Southeast Asian, and Latino. And they all got up. Well, they all wanted to get up, but they appointed 3 people to speak on behalf of their cohort. Behavior regulation, just being mindful of thinking before they spoke, and just feeling a sense of connecting to their inner self. Those were their words. And so this training so they came and trained our community. We trained about 8 to 10 people, Latino, Pacific Islander, and African American from all walks of life, trained facilitators. But we wanted to make sure that the youth are the ones that are administering the curriculum in the schools, because they're, still young. So these are 18 to 26-year-olds that we are looking to bring this curriculum to the youth. So I just wanted to share, as a partner with Continuity Consulting Group, it's been an amazing experience. When he says soft touch, I mean, they are listening and making sure that our needs are met. And we are able we unpacked the curriculum and made sure that the students were to look at some of the mindfulness meditation scripts and kind of flip it to how can they deliver it to Tongans and Samoans that makes it relevant.
Yeah.
So we're able to do that, and the autonomy for that was so like graciously like accepted by our community, because they wanted to make sure that not only our students but then our parents. We did a parent meeting, and they were like, "Oh, you didn't even mention the natural high retreat."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, sorry.
That's how it's gonna work, it's hard to remember it all.
Yeah, all right, so our natural high retreats are basically ecotherapy. We have found that we're just gatekeepers to the medicine. So we take either as a culminating experience or as a primer. We have a partner in Truckee, Gateway Mountain Center. And for between 3 or 5 days, depending on your capacity as a partner, we will take the kids up. They'll be exposed to hiking, canoeing, kayaking, rock climbing, rock rappelling. They stay in a 100-year-old lodge that Gateway just purchased. And if the group is too large, we also have a partnership with Sierra Nevada Journeys, which is also in the Sierras, and there's a ropes course, trail hiking and things like that. But for us, the big thing is to really introduce kids to a deliberate and intentional accessing of their dopamine system, so that they understand that you can have fun like at a natural level that does not require an onboarding of some other substance. And with regards to the cost of natural high retreats, completely free. So we will cover all funding from the leasing of buses, everything's free. So like if you're a partner and you have a kid, like we want to make sure that there's no barrier to the kiddo experiencing this, and whether they're in custody or out. We operate a selling program with our local partner for our juvenile camp. I just bought shoes for our running club at the juvenile hall. So every kid wants to beat me running. And so I had to tell them, it's no big thing if you beat a 53-year-old. I'm gonna climb with you. And I'm a horrible adult. I have a reputation of taking no prisoners in any game in juvenile hall. So I love it. I love being a teenager. But that is something that we really offer. So we just want to make sure that kids, because here's the biggest thing that we realized, for many of the kiddos, staff are the most consistent adults in their life. Yeah. And we have a small county, and many of our staff really are responsive to the fact that they are de facto parents. So there's a lot of caregiving and accountability. And so we want to make sure that in addition to that, the kids know that this is a speed bump in their life and they have the opportunity to change the trajectory of their life. And we just want to participate in that. And so participate in a way that's constructive, but also sustainable. So, and it's really, really key to public safety. So, especially when we're working on our system and wall side.
Yes, yes, and it's absolutely sustainable. Like you said, when the funding streams end, we still have all these facilitators that are out there and available. Does anyone else have any further questions? And our meetings are recorded and they go up on YouTube. So could you please let folks know how they can reach you, how they can learn more about your program?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't put my QR code on. So you can email me at jjordan@continuityconsulting.com. I will answer any email. I will travel to any part of the state. And I'm just a phone call or email.
We're certainly grateful for your time and for the work that you're doing. It sounds amazing. Could you leave me with a card? Sure. Okay, great.
And he loves any excuse to come to the Bay Area.
I love it. I literally have to be on a plane at 6 a.m. And Tiff said, hey, can you come out to our meeting? I was like, I'll be there.
So much. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Do we want to call for public comment?
Sure.
As soon as.
Loose one, and I'll talk to you about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Members of the public, if you wish to comment on item 6, a presentation by Joaquin Jordan, please raise your hand in Zoom now.
I just want to say thank you. That was an amazing presentation. Yes. And thank you for being of service to the youth.
No additional speakers.
Thank you so much. Okay. So moving on to item, yes, I think everybody is going to want to, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 7, which is a brief inspection update. For the last 2 years, we've been sort of trying to figure out what is our role over at the Elysian Receiving Home. What does that look like? According to the Welfare and Institutions Code, we're supposed to be inspecting it. And so I was able to contact Judith, and she gave me some direction to contact John Fong. And so we will be inspecting Elysian Receiving Home, although they don't call it the receiving home, they actually opened a temporary home. So we have the short term up to 6 months, and then we have up to 10 days, like 10 days and under. So there's 2. We have not had any, in this past inspection cycle, we have not had any 10-day children, but we have had many at the receiving home. So please, if you have not already done so, if you have not already signed up to be on an inspection team, you really need to do so as soon as possible. And Elysian is definitely one. If you're interested in learning more about what happens with our foster youth and what happens at the receiving home, this is the perfect opportunity to do so.
We used to inspect them.
We
when-
did.
When it was the receiving home.
Yes, and it was going through the old records, and I found an old inspection, and I said, why did this stop? No one can really say why
It
it stopped.
stopped when it became an SDRTP, I think.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
so now we're back on. So we are really close now. If you, like I said, if you have not already signed up for inspections, I would like you to do so by the end of the week, because it's gonna be time for our teams to meet, to look over the templates for the inspections, to make adjustments and changes, and for the Elysian team to really brainstorm and what do we wanna know, what do we wanna see, and so that's gonna be a whole new, template. So from this point on, once the teams are established, I'll send out an email, and then it's gonna be time to start meeting as a group. In the inspection folder, there's a task and timeline that sort of gives you an idea of where your team should be at. I'm really looking to our more senior commissioners to be leading these inspections, because we do have quite a few new commissioners who've never done this before, so it's important that they're trained properly by someone who has done these before. So that is basically the update on inspections. Does anyone have any questions? Is anyone not sure about what team they want to be on or need any direction? Because I'm available to help you decide if you need some more, yes.
So would there be an issue to doing the inspection in June instead of in August, or is there like state, like, or something?
It's not state, but we've determined that our inspection cycle runs through July 31st. So we do a year period snapshot. So if we did it, we'd have to get to that point, and then we look at all the documents, because
It's really a problem for education. So, and every year I've said that. We run out of time because we can't even start looking at the school until end of September. It's just a mess.
so what you can do is, I mean, if we know that, so you could schedule the first week of August, right?
But they're not in school.
We'll know when we get that form, but we have to have year-over-year comparison. So if we want to change, so when we look at has things gone up, we have to have the same kind of snapshot, right? But if we want to change it, if you're proposing that we change the inspection cycle next year, let's say it starts June 1, ends
Yeah.
May 31,
Mhm.
absolutely we could do that. Absolutely we could do that. We would just, talk about it in a meeting, and then, but that's the purpose, is just so we have year-over-year
Okay.
data. And that sounds like it would be much more
Yeah, that would,
for
it
the
would,
educational
yeah.
inspection.
it would help a lot. So,
Okay,
then for this year, we should do it in August, because, yeah, that's it.
well, that's typically,
August 19th is the first day of school.
and when do they get out?
Get out this summer,
When's it, because she said they're out for 2 weeks.
I can't answer that question quickly.
Okay, so hopefully, Commissioner Nori,
Yeah.
I will get the calendar from Sarah Notch, and we'll work it out and see what we can do. I believe there's gonna be a short snapshot, like a short time in there, that
Okay.
if you get it on the books,
Yeah,
then
Then
we
we
can
can
get it
get it,
done.
okay.
But if we wait too long into August, then Melissa's correct. We do run into trouble.
okay.
Okay, let me know how I can help you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, public comment, please.
Sure. Members of the public, if you wish to comment on item 7, please raise your hand now in Zoom. All right, no hand up. I do have one speaker, Shakil Ali.
Oh, great.
Shakil, I'll give you the permission to speak, so please proceed.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I was excited to hear the talk about doing those inspections, and I'm really interested in finding out what the findings are and what we'll be able to do as a county to, improve all the placements of our youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No additional speakers.
Thank you. Okay, so then we are moving into number 8, which is our project updates. And our first update was to come from Commissioner Blanco on the countywide educational summit. But she's not present, but I can let you know that that team is full. I think we have 4 or 5 people serving on that project. So I'm anticipating we can get some good work done there. If you've not already signed up for a project, one of the things we ask as a commissioner that you sign up for at least one project annually and an inspection. So if you have not done so already, please do so as soon as possible. Do I need to call for public comment on each one? Okay, no, okay. All right, and then we also have a foster care project that's underway, and Commissioner Ginevro has put together a proposal. Do you want to give a brief update on where that is, maybe a call for folks to come join you?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, my initial thought with my project was to be more focused on the like aftercare and support services that are available to our foster youth in our community, just because I think that it would be nice if we also focus on our foster youth with the JJDPC. But when I looked at the Welfare and Institutions Code, and I just saw really the scope of the scope of our authority for our commission, I realized that it's very limited, and also it might be irrelevant now because it is very specific to according to the Welfare and Institution Code. It basically says that our commission can inquire into the operations of group homes where either wards or dependents of the court are placed. And so Commissioner Swope also sent me some really helpful information, as well as our chair, about just the changes that have happened with group homes in our area. And basically the group homes are either the short-term therapeutic facilities or they're closed. So I think that it would be really important for us to do a little bit of a deep dive into the facilities that are available in our county that maybe we don't know about, because you can't just Google group homes in San Mateo County. Trust me, I tried a lot of different things to try to figure it out. So there are facilities that have to house some of our youth because they have to be placed somewhere. So where are they being housed? What's the scope of the JJDPC? Where are the group homes? Where's their scope? Where are our youth being placed when they're either considered a ward or a dependent of the court? In my proposal gives the different definitions, and then also at the end of it, we can kind of determine whether or not we want to think about petitioning for an amendment to that code so that the scope of what the JJDPC does for our foster youth expands, changes, amended, whatever it might be. But I think before we do anything, we have to really understand even the youth that we're servicing right now, or should be servicing.
So there's room on that project for anyone who's interested, especially if you're going to be signing up for the Elysian inspection. This would be a wonderful opportunity to really do a deep dive into foster care. I know this is something that many of us have been concerned about and have questions about. There's much to learn. So I'd encourage you to join that project team.
Feel free to reach out to me. Don't worry, no pressure right now.
Thank you so much for putting that together. And we look forward to hearing more updates as that moves forward.
I have a question.
Yes.
In your research of foster youth in San Mateo County, did that involve reaching out to Mr. John Fong at any point?
That is not on my list right now, but thank you for that. I'll add it to that.
Because he used to attend these meetings, and he was extremely helpful in the delinquency prevention part of the work that we do. He would inform us of how many youth were in the foster system, how many youth were beyond our county lines. He would even give us the cultural makeup. So it was very, very helpful and very educational for not only the commission, but the public that is attending these meetings to be aware of where our foster youth are. And I think that would be a great place to start. And maybe you could ask him if he could come back to our meetings as well.
I can do that.
Yes, and I sent numerous emails and invitations for him to rejoin our meetings.
Right.
And so I am hopeful that he will return, because I agree. I think anyone who was on the commission when he used to report,
Yes.
that was excellent insight.
That was awesome. And I think the community, now that we have a larger community and a lot of community leaders and CBOs attending these meetings, I think it would be important that the foster youth have a voice. And right now he's that voice, and it's lacking at this commission. So I think that he should be notified again and ask if he wants to be a partner with the community in addressing how we help our foster youth.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll briefly go over the substance abuse treatment and services project that Commissioner Jackson and I will be working on. This is an issue that is very close to our hearts, as we both have family members who suffered with substance abuse. And so we want to do something about it. We know now, I see it in many of the juvenile halls around the Bay Area. We have kids who are using substances like lean and Percocets, or what they think is Percocet, which is actually fentanyl. We have kids who are withdrawing in the juvenile halls from these drugs. They don't even realize they're withdrawing. They're like, I have the flu, I'm sick. I'm like, you're withdrawing. They don't even realize what's happening. So we want to get to the bottom and find out, okay, just what does the usage look like? And so in determining that, we'll talk to folks from law enforcement, parents, the youth themselves, educators, service providers, healthcare professionals, community stakeholders. We want to find out, what do the parents see? Where's this? Are they buying it at school? Where's this coming from? Where did this start? What are the influences? We also want to find out where the gaps are. And this presentation was a beautiful example of what we could be doing to fill those gaps in our community. Because right now there are many gaps, not only in the hall, but out in the community. People will call me and say, Ms. Johanna, my son needs treatment. He needs residential treatment. And I'm calling board of supervisors and I'm calling everybody, and they say, we don't have a single bed in this county.
For you.
Not a single residential bed. Well, that's unacceptable. So we've got to get to the bottom of it. We've got to find out, where could we get a contract for that bed? We have to do better for our children. And the board of supervisors last year, they held that fentanyl summit. So they are mindful that this is an issue that must be addressed. And, so that is what this project is going to be about. After we sort of analyze, what the extent of the problem is, speak with the parents, get ideas on what they feel would be helpful, we'll issue a formal report of recommendations, hopefully identify some service providers, maybe some facilities, and that's the goal of this project. This project aligns with aspiration number 2 for this commission. This aspiration number 2 is all youth in San Mateo County and their families have convenient, affordable access to high quality mental health, substance abuse, restorative, and other programs and services they need to promote their health and success. So that's in line with our mission. We are anticipating the project to take 6 to 9 months, and we still have room for one more commissioner. If anyone is interested in joining us in this very important work, please let me know.
Sign me up for that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Bocanegra. So that project then is full, so that'll be Commissioner Jackson, myself, and Bocanegra. So we'll be giving monthly reports up until the project is complete. So at this time, should we call, or should I ask, does anyone have any questions for me?
I have one
Yes,
question.
yes.
Are you going to include tobacco and vaping?
I think we should. I think all substances that are impacting our youth's health, right? And they're,
Good.
so absolutely. Vaping is a huge problem, Okay, any other questions before we call the public? Okay, thank you.
Sure, members of the public, if you wish to comment on item 8, the project updates, please raise your hand in Zoom. All right, no hands are raised, back to you.
Okay, thank you. So we are already at announcements, and I'm looking at my watch at 6:30, so that's wonderful. Okay. So, okay, that's great. This doesn't happen. So, okay, so the first announcement I'd like to make is OICR's California Child Welfare Council is going to be holding a meeting on Wednesday, June 5th from 1:30 to 3:30. And they're holding a series of meetings So I would encourage anyone who's interested. Commissioners can also, the public can sign up on the OICR website. You can sign up to receive emails and they'll send you all this information. So you can attend at your leisure. The second announcement was that BSCC meetings are available on YouTube. So if you haven't been able to attend the Title 15 and 24 revision meetings, BSCC has a YouTube channel, and you can go there and get up to speed real quick on what's happening on that front. As you know, Title 15 and 24 is like the foundation of our work, what we use to do our job. So it's really important to follow what's happening there. So that's available to you. Also, the National Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, if you as a commissioner or the members of the public have not already signed up to receive information from this organization, it's there, and their website is ojjdp.ojp.gov. They have resources and all kinds of podcasts. They do a monthly meeting from the national chair. It's just good information to have. And for parents who may be watching on YouTube or out right now online, it may answer some of the questions you have for your children as well. And lastly, I want to announce that the National Conference on Youth Justice will be having a convention in Washington, D.C. They're going to be celebrating 50 years from 1974 to 2024. Wow, that makes me feel old. So 1974 to 2024. The dates are November 19th through 21st. It's in Washington, D.C. And if you are interested in going to the National Conference on Youth Justice, now might be the time to set that time on your calendar to see if you might want to attend. People from all over the nation will be going. Does anybody else have any announcements they'd like to share? Okay. All right, well, the time is approximately 6:35 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. The Juvenile Justice Commission will be meeting directly after this for about 20 minutes to discuss some issues in private.